Sons of King. Sons of King.
Bless you, brother.
King.
And what is our destiny? To be in this truth. To be in this truth and to make it to the end. As it is written, to finish the work. Like Yahushua said. I've finished the work. You know? The Apostle Paul said the same thing. Henceforth I know there's a crown of righteousness that is laid up for me. Okay, that is our destiny.
But ye shall be named the priests of the Lord. Men shall call you the ministers of our God. Ye shall eat the riches of the Gentiles, and in that glory shall ye boast yourselves. For your shame ye shall have double, and for confusion they shall rejoice in their portion. Therefore in their land they shall possess the double, everlasting joy shall be unto them. For I the Lord love judgment, I hate robbery for burnt offering. And I will direct their work in truth, and I will make an everlasting covenant with them. And their seed shall be known among the Gentiles, and their offspring among the people. All that see them shall acknowledge them, that they are the seed which the Lord hath blessed. I will greatly rejoice in the Lord. My soul shall be joyful in my God. For he hath clothed me with the garments of salvation. He hath covered me with the robe of righteousness, as a bridegroom decketh himself with ornaments, and as a bride adorneth herself with her jewels. For as the earth bringeth forth her bud, and as the garden causeth the things that are sown in it to spring forth, so the Lord God will cause righteousness and praise to spring forth before all the nations.
Sons of King. And King. Sons of
All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praise and glory unto Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai Bahashem, Rakakodash, and double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS who rule well, teach well, being great examples to his young brothers. And peace and blessings and salutation to the hopeful elect out there pushing this word and truth and in sincerity across the four winds in the name of Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai Bahashem, Rakakodash, pushing to get up out of here. Shalom to the hopeful elect, the believers, the listeners who have came back to the obedience of the scriptures through faith in Yahweh Bashem Al Shai. All right, and what I want to get into, with this lesson, is dealing with, all right, the hour of temptation, which we know, that the major prophecies left, the MOTB, which, within the MOTB, all right, you're going to have Jacob's trouble, okay, the persecution of the prophets, okay, the civil unrest, the famines, the tribulation, all right, and then you're going to have this third world war, which you're going to usher in, all right, the headline to all prophecy, and that's the coming of Yahushua, so we have things that we have to endure, okay, as the scriptures say, he that endured to the end shall be saved. Well, so we have particular, all right, things that we have to endure, before deliverance. All right, and we're going to be tested to see if our faith is authentic. Okay, the Lord's going to test, all right, our faith in this time. You see, we're not going to be proven we're not going to be rewarded until we proven. You see, and we got to be proven, in this last hour, coming down the stretch. All right, these last moments of prophecy, this is where we're going to be proven, before we're rewarded. Okay, so this grace period is about us, growing, in patience. It's going to be, patience required in this time. Okay, it's going to be faith. Okay, there's going to be courage, to execute on that faith, man. Those are things that we're going to need, that patience, faith, and courage. Okay, for the times that we're coming into. Okay, and when you read Revelation 3 and 10, it says, because thou hast kept the word of my patience. You see? So patience plays a factor, and patience is the ability, to suffer, okay, until you get a desired outcome. Okay. And we know we're coming into a time, where we're going to be uncomfortable. Okay. We're going to have to deal, with the loss of, the things of this world, the convenience of this world. Okay. And we're going to have to be patient in the lower state. You see, we're really going to have to be patient, as the scriptures say, in the lower state. I believe that's Sirach 2. Okay. And going to the first few verses in Sirach chapter 2, it speaks about, okay, that, patience when I brought to a lower state. Matter of fact, we can get it, and then we'll come back to the book of Revelation, and I got a video I want to play dealing with this dream, that this woman had, concerning the MOTB, okay? Because we're in those times. There's no doubt about it that this devil, he's being forced, okay, to roll this thing out. The Heavenly Father got pressure on Esau, okay? And this devil's, number one ambition, is to establish a technocracy, okay, to merge people with his technology, okay? This devil wants to control, okay, and pretend to be the Most High through technology, man. So that's his number one desire, okay? And the Lord has a spirit on him to attempt to pull this off, man. This is Sirach 2 and 1. It says, my son, if thou come to serve the Lord, prepare thy soul for temptation, okay? So as we serve our power, we have to prepare our soul for temptation or trials. You see? And these trials, they prove us, man. They refine us, these tests. Okay? Because this is going to be a test to see if we really, all right, are dead to this world. The MOTB, the hour temptation, is going to be the test to see if we're dead to the world like we say we are. Okay? Verse 2 says, set thy heart aright and constantly endure, and make not haste in time of trouble. Yeah, going back to patience. Make not haste in time of trouble. You see, when we're not able to pay things, okay, we're not able to maintain, okay, when it comes to our things we got in this world, we can't maintain those things, make the payments. You see, when things start getting stripped from us, when we have to be as pilgrims on the earth, we can't make haste, we can't be impulsive because we get uncomfortable, okay, because we're inconvenienced for our faith. You see, so we have to set our heart, our mind, all right. We have to really prepare our minds and already be detached, already be dead now. Okay, it says, cleave unto him and depart not away, that thou mayest be increased at thy last end. You see, that thou may be increased at the last end, because as we're tried, favor is around the corner from the temptation. Okay, because the same scriptures, all right, that tell us about the persecutions, okay, the straight gate, or the same scriptures say we're going to eat and be merry. Okay, we're going to have abundance. You see, but there's a trying before that. Okay, you got to be proven before the favor, and the ultimate favor all right, is us, okay, being delivered, us being changed. Okay. Verse 4, this the point says, whatsoever is brought upon thee, take cheerfully. Okay. So we take these things cheerfully, man. We'll take the uncomforts with cheerfully because we know why we're uncomfortable. We know why we're being inconvenienced. We know why we're losing, so-called losing. Okay? Because there's really no loss in your house shop. If we're finna get everything, there really ain't no loss. This is just an illusion of losing. Okay? To the people of this world, this is their end all be all, then it looks like we're losing. Okay? But those in Yahweh Shai, we know that ain't no losing. If Yahweh Shai finna give us everything, immortality. Let's start off with that from the door. New bodies and immortality. You see, what can we lose on this side? It's only gain in Yahweh Shai. Okay, that's why we should be in the spirit to take these things cheerfully. Okay, we shouldn't mind shedding, this current situation in hopes for a better. Okay, it says, and be patient when thou art changed to a low estate. So we have to be patient when we're changed to a low estate. Can't be impulsive. You see a lot of people, all right, they're finna scramble, to try to salvage, their life before the chaos. This is going to be the mindset of the masses, okay, is to try to salvage any remnant of their life that they had before the chaos, before the transition. You see? But now we got to be patient. We're commanded to be patient in the lower state and wait on the Lord to do what he's going to do. Okay? And the Lord is going to put a spirit. Okay? Let's go here. Let's go back to back to Revelation 3:10. Okay? But the Lord going to put a spirit on his elect. He's going to keep us in this time. When you read Revelation 3:10 again, it said, because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I also keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world, all right, the whole globe, to try them that dwell upon the earth. To try them that dwell upon the earth. You see that? So when you go into this word, keep, you get a couple of these words. So since we, day for day, have kept the Lord's word of patience, as we have committed ourselves to this ministry, and being patient, waiting on the Lord. All right, well, the Lord's going to put the spirit on us so we can be kept during this time, man. He's going to have provisions, and all right, he's going to, there's going to be power. You see, in these times for those that kept the patience of his word, okay, and stayed obedient, okay, in the worst moments. It says, all right, that Greek word is, plays a Greek word.
Strong's G 5083, tereo.
It says to attend carefully, take care of. You see that? To attend to carefully, which means the Lord's going to be hands-on. To attend to carefully, to take care of, man. This is how the Lord is going to be dealing with his elect in these times. All right? There's a remnant whom the Lord is going to attend to carefully in these times, man. It says to guard. You see? To be a defense. You see? It says to keep, metaphor, to keep one in the state which he is. Yeah, it's going to keep us from bugging out. There's a lot of people from the bug out. Okay? A lot of people from the completely bugging out now. Okay? But the Lord is going to keep us, as scripture say, wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of our times, man. We're going to be anchored by this understanding through faith, man. Okay? So when these times to come, man, the Lord is really, all right, going to, like it says, to attend carefully to his elect, to take care of, man. All right, to be a guard. You see? So in these are the times that we're in, we're gonna be kept. You see? But a lot of our people, all right, they're getting ready to bend the knee to this system, man. You know, and they're already been primed to do it. See, there's a remnant, okay, that's being conditioned to trust in Yahweh by Shema Shai, okay, and there's 2 words that's being conditioned to bend the knee, okay, because most of our people, they already worship, okay, the image of the beast, okay, they love this current society, this current age, okay, they love, this revived, okay, Roman Empire, this digital Roman Empire, okay, that has been revived in the earth, okay. So on the flip side, when you go to our people, Isaiah 36:6 is low. Thou trustest in the staff of this broken reed. Okay, and our people trust, all right, in this system. Okay, this broken reed. Okay, and then our people trust in this rigged system that only benefits, okay, a few elite. You see, with our people trust in it, based on that do as thou wilt. Okay, the spirit of convenience, and you can buffet on your flesh. Okay, they convenience, they're able to, there's so many, the abundance of food, and you can party, you can kick it, you can, social media. See, Jake is, you see, it is a pampered slave. You see, and our people don't see nothing outside of this system. Okay, their reality begins and ends with this system being up and running. Okay, so it says, lo, thou trustest in the staff of this broken reed on Egypt, whereon if a man lean, all right, if a man lean, it will go into his hand and pierce it, and that's going to be to see him. Okay, because if you trust, you lean. Okay, let's get this word lean. And finish this. I would say, whereon if a man lean, it will go into his hand and pierce it. So is Pharaoh, king of Egypt, to all that trust in him. Okay, and we know, all right, modern day Egypt is America. Okay, which America is finna go hard biting. Okay, and pushing this on MOTB, because you look at it, once America begins to make that transition, okay, the dollar has to crash, before, okay, the transition. You see, so America plays a pivotal part in switching over to this new system, man. Okay, because the dollar has, all right, to collapse. Okay, and it's gonna be a hard fall in America, man. You see, and a lot of people, this is all they know. This is where their hope is at. Their trust is in Egypt, and this place being up and running. So you go to the Hebrew word samak. Okay, it says what? To lean. Okay, it says to lean or lay upon, to rest. All right, to support, to uphold, to sustain. So if all your faith, your hope, all right, because everybody believes in something. You see, and what people believe in is going to be shown in the time of affliction. That's when you really see what someone believes in. Okay, that's really what you see, what people believe in during the time of affliction. Okay, so people are going to be looking for this system, all right, in these times of in this hour of temptation, to support them, to sustain them, to uphold them. All right, it says to refresh, to revive. Okay, and people are going to look at this technology as a refreshing, as a revival. You know, as the Lord was going to cause Esau to crash this system. Okay, bring in the chaos and the civil unrest. Okay, people are going to look at the MOTB as a refresher, as a revival, as being revived. Okay, and you can tell by the reaction of the one this woman had a dream, and the woman in her dream, her reaction, to getting to see him. Okay, this is going to be ecstatic to a lot of people, man. We go into the people that's is bucking up. Okay, but we also have to remember there's a population. Okay, especially here in America, man. Hey, they're gonna look at this thing with excitement. Okay, they're gonna be really like I said, ecstatic to merge with this man's technology. Okay, because people are already, damn near one with their phones. Okay, damn near one with this technology now. All right, and this devil, he's just getting ready to make it official with that C-hip now. Let's go from there. Let's get the video real quick. And this from the brother channel, the brother Yaqua, the hopeful. Elect 3. Okay, let's play this.
So I had another dream a couple nights ago, and it was about the mark of the beast again. I dreamed that I am in a living room with my husband and my mother-in-law, and another loved one walks through the door, and she's really excited about this thing that she did, and she shows us her right hand, and you can see where there is a microchip implanted in her hand. And she's telling us about how amazing this thing is and how we have to get it. Like everyone has to get this thing. And me and my husband, we look at each other and we're like, we knew what it was. And she looked at us and she's like, what? Is it bad or something?
To show you how, people are so oblivious to what's happening. A lot of people are so dumbed down, that they're oblivious to, they're walking right into a digital trap. Okay, they're going into digital slavery. Okay, so, her relative, friend of the family, whatever. All right, and you can see, and she's explaining, you can see, all right, a dumbass American thinking that they've done something great by getting, the C-hip. Okay, so there's a lot of people, man, they're going to be ecstatic. This is going to be, an upgrade to them. They really believe the hype. They're really going to believe, that they're transcending. Okay, that they've entered into a digital utopia. Okay, because this is how the devil is going to sell it. You see, so it's a lot of people that they're going to think that they're entering into some type of digital utopia system. Okay, that they're going to transcend and live. Okay, on a level that no, man, it's going to be tyranny and slavery on another level. Okay, but you can just see I'm and she explained in the story, I can see, all right, you simple Americans, okay, being, joyful about getting this technology, man. Okay, so let's play this.
Let me guess, it's bad. And she gets angry and she storms out the door. We knew what it was. And she looked at us and she's like, what? Is it bad or something? Let me guess, it's bad. And she gets angry and she storms out the door. So then we walk outside, and when we get outside, there are these lines of people, like they're all lined up. There are people with pens and clipboards, and they're signing people up, non-disclosures, to get this mark. And so we're just like kind of avoiding the lines and trying to be, not be suspicious. But you can tell that the people who are who have the clipboards, they're taking note of the people walking past and not getting in line. So from there, we go to this office space, and there's like maybe 10 or 12 other people with us in this office space, and we have like protein shakes and snacks and everything's like, we're stocked up for maybe about just a week for 12 people. But we all have agreed that there is no way, like, we will die before we take the mark. We knew what was going on, and we're like, no, we're not.
And then spiritual said like 12 people, I thought about the tribes, because there's a remnant from amongst the tribes, man. Okay, who's gonna be okay, man? We're gonna be all right. It's always have to put that out there, man. We're gonna be all right. We know one thing that's not an option. May the Lord, keep that spirit on us. But we know one thing that's not an option. That's taking this MOTB. That's the ultimate betrayal, man. It's the ultimate betrayal. You see, it goes way beyond being able to buy and sell and eat. And nah, man, that's the ultimate betrayal, man. We hate, all right, this current rulership, this current world, the people that run this world, man. There's no way we will, all right, betray our power that's finna give us everything, okay, for some goddamn, technology, just so you can start going back to Chick-fil-A. Backyard burger eating that nigga, man. Come on, man. Going back to, this truth has made us big thinkers, man. We think way beyond. Esau ain't got nothing to promise us, man. Esau has nothing to promise us. If we believe in these promises of the scriptures, man, okay, there's nothing this devil has to promise us. And he's the devil, man. Okay? This nigga lies, man. So let's play a little more.
Not doing that. And next thing you know, the family member that had came in the door at the beginning, showing us her mark and was so excited about it, she walks in the door and she is no longer herself. She's like a shell of her old self. But now she's like an informant. And that's when I wake up. And I just feel like that is how close we are. We are so close. So close. And when that happens, like, anyone who takes the mark, they are not themselves. They're not themselves after they take it. They are transhuman informants. They are being tracked. And if you are with them, you can be tracked down.
Yeah, man, and it makes sense, why the Lord, is going to have us separate, from these people, and the scriptures speak about these things, because she said first, let's get this first. All right. She spoke about, hey, there was a lot of people signing up. Okay. I said, it's going to be people, even before the MOTB is mandated, okay, it's going to be lining up to go get this technology, man. Second Ezra 5:1, nevertheless is coming the tokens. Behold, the days shall come that they would, that they which dwell upon the earth shall be taken in great number, and the way of the truth shall be hidden, and the land shall be barren of faith. Okay, the way of truth shall be hidden, and the land shall be barren of faith. You see, because most people don't have faith in anything outside, okay, of this current world. Most of our people, but you heathens, you're done. Okay, but speaking of our people, they have no faith in the scriptures and the promises, and the prophecies and Yahweh Shai. Okay, remember their faith is here in Egypt. Remember they low. Those that go trust in Egypt. You see, and they're going to be taken in great numbers, man. They're going to go, all right, and offer themselves, okay, to this technocracy, man. They're going to walk to their own slavery, man. Okay, a lot of people going to be unalive in these times. They're going to be taken in that fashion as well. Which that's going to promote the masses, okay, to bend the knee. Okay, it says, but iniquity shall be increased above that which thou now seest, or that thou hast heard long ago. Okay, so we're going to see, wickedness, all right, just go out the charts. Okay, violence is going to go out the charts, man. Okay, because the main part of this man's agenda, okay, is order out of chaos. So the chaos, okay, is being manufactured now, with these crises and pestilence, okay, the inflation. You see, this engineered crisis, man, which these people, all right, are going to go off the rails, man. Okay, the worst time ever. You see? So a lot of people are getting ready to be taken, man. She's seen a lot of people signing themselves up, okay, for this technology, man. Okay, and part of that is going to be because of the unrest. As these people are going to want, and Esau is going to be promising peace through this technology. He's going to be promising prosperity, okay, the transcendent. You see? Going back to if you lean, all right, if you depend on this system, okay, or this device, all right, is your next move. Okay, merging with this man's technology is your next move, man. And then she spoke on how the person that when it got to see him in her dream, she wasn't herself anymore. Because people were saying, even with the juice, people were speaking about how they didn't feel like they self anymore. People that went and took the juice, okay, so they didn't feel human anymore. I remember people saying that they didn't feel human anymore. That was with the juice, man, which we believe, brothers speculate, that their juice is just prepping you for the see him. Their juice is putting certain things in you, okay, prepping you people, all right, for the see him, okay, and then you get to see him itself, man, all right, because this devil wants to deal with you. He wants to merge his technology with your nervous system, your neurological system. Okay? But there's no telling what type of frequency is going to be upon you with that RFID. Okay? There's no telling what frequency the devil is ever going to put you on. All right? And she said the person in the dream that got to see him, she had the spirit of an informant. Well, the scriptures speak about this. Luke 21:16 says, and ye shall be betrayed both by parents and brethren and kinfolk and friends, and some of you shall they cause to be put to death, and you shall be hated of all men for my name's sake. So imagine, the masses getting to see him, man. Okay? It's going to be a lot of betrayal, man. You see? Because you get this see here, like I say, that's the ultimate betrayal that you can do to the Most High as an Israelite, man. Okay, and it'll tell them what demons the Lord's going to allow to be on you when you get to see him. You see, and it's going to be a lot of hatred towards the prophets, man. You know, it says, but there shall not inherit on your head perish. You know, so you're going to have those that the Lord's going to allow to be martyrs, and you're going to have those that not inherit on their head going to be perished. So either way, it's a win for the elect. Okay, verse 19 says, in your patience, going back to patience, possess you your souls, man. So the thing is about enduring during these times, man. You know, dealing with whatever will play out, you know, and knowing that it's elect for the victory, even in death, man. We have to put emphasis on that, man. Death ain't a loss in Yahushua. Okay? Death ain't the end of the story in Yahushua, man. Okay? It's just setting the stage for a miracle, a resurrection. You see? So we have to understand coming down, you know, the stretch, the clutch. Okay? We're going into the clutch of this thing, man. Okay? And we have to be willing to make that ultimate sacrifice. All right? Then bend the knee. You know, we have to have that mentality that we would rather go back to the spiritual realm than bend the knee. Okay? And that's going to be an option for some. Okay? But then, you know, I believe in the spirit for the majority, not a hair on their head going to be perished, man. Okay? Not going to be some that, you know, fulfill their prophecy, some believers. Okay? So we can't, you know, shy away from it. Nah, man, it is what it is. And the Lord going to give us a spirit to deal. You see? He's going to tend to carefully, man, even in, you know, if those that have to take, you know, the death. Okay? So this is Matthew 20:24 and 13 said, but he that shall endure unto the end, the same shall be saved. Okay? So it's about enduring these things that we're getting ready to go through. Okay? And being steadfast, man, being faithful to our power. You know, even in death. Okay? So those that endure to the end and keep the faith until the end, the same shall be saved, be delivered. You know, and our power, he's going to intervene. You know, he's going to keep getting more and more involved as things get worse and worse, man. So that's the point, you know, just wanted to get into that, respond to that video. So Lord will, all right, you brothers and you few sisters edified once again, and give all praise and glory unto Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shah Bahashem, Rakapadash, and double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS who rule well, teach well, being great examples to us younger brothers, and peace and blessings, salutations to the hopeful Shalom.